Hello, everyone. My name is Piper J. Drake, and we are in session 0.5 of Vampire the Masquerade, which is as yet an unnamed campaign because I'm keeping the name of the campaign secret until we actually start to live stream. So that's happening. Yes, right? So we're here, and I'm going to start with introductions. Could each of you please introduce yourself, starting with Katee?
Oh, yes. Okay. I am Katee Robert, romance author. I write a lot of retellings, and I'm a chaos monster. So don't, yeah, that's that.
Delightfully
That,
so.
yeah. Um, yeah, dark erotic romance, lots of books. I suck at this. I terrible. So,
It'd be great.
It's
yeah.
organic. It's all good.
I feel like we
Chaos
should
monster.
introduce each other.
Right.
We'll do that another time.
Yeah.
All right, Gabriel.
I'm Gabriel F. Salmeron. It's weird saying it in English, but I write fantasy, and there's something that I forgot to mention last session. I have 6 dogs, which is basically everything you need to know about me. And I'm also a bladesmith,
That's a
chemical
need to know.
engineer,
That's definitely a need to know.
and yeah, there's a bunch of magic with thermodynamics and things that I love in my writing. And yeah, that's me.
All right. Thank you. Jenny?
I am Jenny Nordbak. I am an author of memoir, some romance. I write short, very dirty things for Penthouse. I narrate audiobooks, most of them so far for Miss Katee, who's above me right now, and they're real dirty. Um, I also have a couple podcasts. I have Wicked Wallflowers with Miss Sarah, and I have a new podcast called Bonkers Romance, and it's really fun.
Thank you. Cooper?
Hi, Cooper Barham. I am also a writer, mostly of things that are dark and sentimental. I am basically a sentimental puddle. It's a pretty good life most of the time. Primary works at the moment are in urban fantasy, what I call a brightly clad in bright color urban fantasy, and a power fantasy serial that's a new project. But and things you need to know about me that weren't addressed in the last one. I like anime, and I have a little Totoro doll just over here that looks over my room like a protective guardian.
He's
I
also
don't
a
think I said that
corgi
last
owner.
time.
He's also a
Yeah, I
corgi
do
owner.
own a corgi, but I don't have her with me. Maybe in a future stream we'll get to see her.
Sarah?
All right. I'm Sarah Hawley. I write romance and fantasy and science fiction and mashups of the various genres. I have 2 cats who are probably going to make mischief. One of them just thought about tipping my water glass onto my laptop. So if there's any screaming or horrible noises, something as awful has happened. Yeah, that's about it. I don't know.
That works for me. All right. So in last we left our vampires, because whether you are heroes or not is up to you. We were still doing character creation. So we want to continue with character creation in a session 0.5, so to speak. And one of the things, if you are new to us or you're just catching up, is the fact that we have a few things in common. We are all authors. We're all storytellers. But we are all also new to Vampire the Masquerade in some way, shape, or form. Either we are new as in have never played before and are learning the system now. We are new to RPG altogether. Or you're like me, who has played World of Darkness but never played Vampire the Masquerade and has never GM'd ever before. And somehow I am leading us all in this rather nefarious, bloody adventure of twisted storytelling. When I cannot otherwise watch horror ever. Like, I need large pillows and a stuffed animal and, lots of light to even watch, like, Jurassic Park. So, somehow, we're telling Vampire the Masquerade, a campaign. So getting back to our characters, I had led you all through some of the basics, but now that you've had a little bit of time between sessions to kind of think over your characters and think a little bit more about who you wanted your character to be, I want to throw this open in a much less structured way because I think that we'll learn more if I'm answering your questions. My question for each of you is, have you landed on a clan yet? Have you decided a clan?
Yeah, so we'd gone back and forth about this a lot in the previous episode. It was probably half of our content time. I do think I've landed on Toreador, which I think there's another person here who's also landed on Toreador.
Yes.
Kenny. Okay. So that is where the cards fell in terms of that.
Okay. Actually, Jenny, do you want to pitch your character concept to Cooper? Because Cooper might have missed it, and I really would love to talk about that live.
I didn't miss it, but I do want us to talk about it live anyways because it's great.
Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, my character concept will be sort of familiar to Sarah. This is a character who's like lived in my head for a very long time. I think it's this like alter ego I have buried in there somewhere. So it's this character that I've just like loosely talked about since like college, and he's this like underground club scene F-bomb boy. Try not to say it, but he's a real fuck boy. So he's like super attractive and is like used to being sort of worshipped within that space, or he was in that life, and wielding the power that came from that sexuality in that way. And it like had gone to his head. He was sort of buying into that, and now he is an actual undead, and I think is getting aspirations of like going even bigger than that, and that like I am an actual deity and I deserve to be worshipped within this space. And when you're in that kind of underground clubby realm, there's a lot of people who really want to do that worshiping, like they want to believe in that. So you could almost like parade that sort of persona without anybody, like you could walk in there and be like, I am a vampire, and people would not blink at it. So you can almost be sort of out about it. And I think there's potential for like he's using that manipulation to get blood, and like there's just a lot of potential there for him to abuse that power and for it to go to his head. So I don't know what that says about me, but
listen, I created a character who eats people, so like it's fine.
Yeah.
Wait, does he have a name, Jenny?
No,
Or are you
because
still
I mean,
working
I
on it?
used his name for my child, right? So
Well, I knew that, but I didn't know.
I mean, I'm kind of thinking his name, like his club name or his vampire name now is Reaper. Like he sees himself as the Reaper, and he's this like god of death. That he's able to like dole that out and obtain nourishment from it.
Your character's the one that had the cane, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like that aesthetic that I really like, where like carries a cane, possibly some leather gloves, like probably
Definitely leather gloves.
Yes.
yeah,
Required.
Absolutely.
gloves, carries a cane, probably leather pants, like unnecessarily shirtless, but also has like a big cloak on, probably sits on a throne whenever possible, like just
But
really
not sits properly, like
Suspenders, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
just gotta like
yeah.
do that with the
His
legs
legs
kicked
swung
up over one of
over.
the arms.
Yep.
Yeah.
yep,
We're all like, yes.
we know this.
We've got
His
this.
boots have little spikes coming out of the top. Sure.
So what is the
Yeah,
offer for
yeah.
what is the offer to when it comes to your character and Cooper's potential character?
I mean, Cooper had loosely said that he would potentially be interested in being like someone's right hand. So I could see this being a character who would have a right hand, and like whether he had manipulated the right hand into this somehow, or the right hand was sort of a follower of his, or I don't know. Like I think depending on what sort of vibe you wanted there to be between them, there's a lot of potential there, but there also doesn't have to be. Like, I just thought I'd throw it out as an option.
So brainstorming, Cooper, what do you think? Like, how would your character have
How can you serve me, Cooper?
exactly? How would you have given yourself over to this kind of leader and given your loyalty?
So, because this hadn't been brought up in the previous episode, I did go ahead and kind of create a character that isn't necessarily immediately going to be a Lancer of sorts for your character, just because I've only since learned about the character in the interim after I created them. That said, my character has only been embraced for a couple of weeks to a month, so and a very large part of his ambition and the general everything about him is that he would be attracted to somebody who has a sense of direction and a sense of control and like that sort of gravitas. So even though I don't think it would really work out now for him to start as a Lancer for you, just because I think we talked about somebody else's character being the one who transformed mine. I think it might have been Katie's.
I don't know if that would work if the Embraced has.
There's
the same clan,
there's connections,
so-
but we had talked about the fact that Katie's character may have been in the vicinity when you were embraced.
Yeah. Okay. So that
Yeah.
that works. That's fine. But because of that, if the chemical reactions work out, we could end up making it so that my character ends up being a sort of sidekick to yours, anyways, down the line.
That could be.
I could
Definitely
also.
not a
I'm not
requirement,
married
but-
to the concept of my character, so I could change it into more of a sidekick if we feel like that works out. But I want to hear everybody else's ideas first.
Also, I want more details about your character, Cooper.
Okay.
In
Yeah,
terms of,
what
I know
did you come
recently
up with?
embraced, but like, give us some
Yeah.
more.
Give us
Sure.
more.
So my character is, I think, probably one of the younger people in the group, both in terms of his vampirism and general age. I believe we decided in the previous one that he was probably going to be college aged, and I made him very new because I'm new to the game, and this will allow me to ask questions of people and just be generally ignorant in a believable way. But hold on, I do want to sidebar briefly. Piper, my favorite food is oatmeal cream pies,
Oh, interesting.
Oh.
I did.
which is a
ask
food I
that.
like, but it's not my favorite. So if you do something horrendous, it won't scar me personally forever.
That's
I thought about.
wise.
I was like, I don't want to ruin my favorite foods.
Yeah, no.
That's
yeah.
wise.
But my character is basically somebody who's right on the cusp of how do I want to describe this? Because it's not going to be the same as Gabriel's. Gabriel's is like a berserker character, if I'm remembering correctly, somebody who's very prone to violence. Mine is not like that. Mine is kind of a pacifist, but it's in a way that he's fighting. He wants to return to the way things were, but the way things weren't very good, and he could be very easily coaxed into violence or unsavory behaviors, just because he's easily manipulated and can also easily manipulate others, but not through charisma, mostly just because he's extremely earnest, and in that way, I think, is able to convince people that he's to be trusted in certain ways, but also easily taken advantage of by certain characters. I mean, I have a bunch of other stuff here. I don't know how much of this we want to go into, because some of it I want to do organically, but mother died of an overdose, always wears beanies, stuff like that.
I like the little details.
Oh, and his name. Hold on. His name is super pretentious, and I love it. Marche Magnum.
Oh.
Wow.
March
I did not see that coming.
March, like the month of March, but with an E at the end. And then his middle name will be after his father, which is Amon, A-M-O-N. And then the last name is Magnum, which if you say it straight through is Marche Magnum. Has a nice little flow to it.
Does he always introduce himself with his full name?
No.
Oh.
he doesn't.
But I
That
would have
was
loved
his
that.
name
before? That was his name as a human?
Yeah,
I mean-
March.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
This is fun. I'm liking it so far. Very cool. Does anybody have any other questions for Cooper or Jenny about their characters? Like that might be a curiosity tie into their own character.
My character's gonna have some thoughts about Jenny's character, but we'll see how.
Really?
it gets
Oh.
there.
Your character
Those
gonna
can
be
develop. It's
horny
totally
for Jenny's
fair.
character? Because I think all of us are gonna be a little horny for Jenny's character.
My
I
character's
feel
either
like
going to hate Jenny's character for putting out so much alpha energy, or he's going to love him and envy him.
I
It
mean,
depends on how things go.
Or it can be
Jocelyn hated
Or
Fedra
both.
too.
Yeah.
It
all
can
of that.
definitely be both.
yeah. Do I
All
want to
these
All the
own
things
you or be
conflicted.
you? Like
Mm.
those vibes.
The great bisexual question.
I mean, you don't
True.
need, like. It doesn't even have to be sexuality. Sometimes it's just about
Yeah.
respect, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm here.
I
for
mean,
that.
but like a lot of times it is about sex.
I mean, there are romance novels happening here.
This is true, absolutely true. I'm just saying, like, I appreciate
It's
it
not
on
me.
both levels.
It's my character. It's fine.
Yes, none of
Listen.
you are your characters. Also remember
No.
this so that you don't carry too much trauma away from this campaign with you. None of you are your characters. This does
It's
allow
okay.
you to explore some amazing, amazing things. So we shall see. Like even me with like the hand gestures, I'm like, la.
It's very evil genius of you, Piper.
I'm having so much fun with that. All right. So we don't have a name yet for Jenny's, right?
Oh, I think
No.
Reaper.
Reaper.
It is going to be Reaper.
Reaper.
Okay.
Yeah. I might have to change.
Am I
the
supposed to
character
have
in
a
the book of
vampire
Reaper.
name?
Only if you want
I mean,
to.
it seems believable that yours wouldn't yet. Like that he would still
Yeah.
be sort of clinging to that
Yeah.
identity that like he is the same person.
But your character in the underworld like that, like I can totally see, like, oh, that's the Reaper. Like,
Yeah.
It's
It's like, oh man, that's so
whispers.
edgy. I love it.
Oh yes.
I want to be the Decimator.
Look, I've been to a
I want
couple
to be
of
the
clubs that
mildly
were
destructive.
like back in college. You know, I went to a couple of clubs, and some of them were the little bopper, cute clubs down at the waterfront in Philly, and some of them were like up in NYC, and I kind of wondered if I was ever getting home. You know, and so like some of them were DJs, some of them were actually live bands. I think the most wild one was My Life with a Thrill Kill Cult. My Life with a Thrill Kill Cult. Yes, that
Real
was.
kill cult. Okay.
What?
It was banned, and a friend of mine.
What's a band?
Oh, it's a band. I was like, you
band.
went to, there was a cult?
No, it was a band called My Life. There was like pyrotechnics and stuff, and it was in the Trocadero, which was like this old theater that looked like it really would be problematic with pyrotechnics on stage, but
Sure.
we walked out okay.
I went to a goth club in LA once with a friend, and my favorite part, other than the fact no one molests you on the dance floor because everyone's too busy like shadow dancing, was that there was this kid. He was definitely college age, just with a cape, and all he would do was sweep around the edges of the dance floor and listen all night. He just swept around. And I was like, I like that kid. That is a
So
good
good.
kid.
There's
Kids go
another
on
campaign
places.
I'm in. There's a homebrew campaign that I'm in where one of our players convinced the GM to create a new role that he can make, which was the edge roll. It has no actual effect on anything that's happening, except he gets to roll depending on how edgy whatever he's doing or saying is.
Oh my god.
That's amazing.
The edgelord level. I love
Yeah,
it.
that's exactly it.
If we get at that level of epic, I will find some kind of thing. Like in D&D, it's inspiration points. I don't know. I'll have to read in Vampire if there's something similar to be able to award for going over the top in glorious ways. But I strongly encourage it. Strongly.
I feel
Alright.
like we got a good group for that.
We do. I think we do. Actually, Sarah, I'd like to hear about your character.
Yes. Okay. So
Speaking of,
I would like to introduce you to Isabel Tibbie Templeton. So I found out on Wikipedia today that for some reason Tibbie is short for Isabel, which makes no sense to me. So her given name is Isabel, but
Oh.
she is Tibbie Templeton. She was a recent college graduate, eccentric, but like in a fun way, not completely insane yet, and went to vet school. And her first year in vet school, she was having a late night at the library. And as she left, an unknown vampire, she just knows it wasn't a guy, in some kind of frenzy, fed on her and left. So she became a new vampire. She has no idea who her sire is. And so that's her ambition, is to find her sire, because she's convinced that like he loves her very much and just like it's a mistake. And as soon as he sees her, so she's like looking for daddy, and she's probably gonna call him daddy because that's like a little bit weird. So she's like, I'm just looking for daddy, and like once he finds me, it's gonna be fine. She's very
daddy, Sarah?
sunshine. Huh?
Can I be your
What?
daddy?
You can be my daddy.
I was waiting for one of you to pull that one up.
All this has taught me is that there's no way I can share this with my parents. This is not going
Oh,
But her vibe is very like sunshiny. She loves wearing sundresses, but she also wears like combat boots with them. She's got curly hair, and sometimes there's like wild streaks of color in it, and she's fucking nuts about animals. I swore, and I didn't need to swear at that moment. She's very passionate about animals. And so what has happened is that her sort of fixation on healing animals as a vet, it's sort of being, she's Malkavian. That's important. Which I think I'm saying right. Malkavian?
Yeah. Okay. That's intense.
Which is, yeah, so basically you kind of inherit this lunatic edge from your sire. And so it's just sort of twisted what was this like eccentric animal loving person into, so she's got cats. She's got lots of cats. They're her blood thralls. So she finds rescue cats that are in dire straits and she feeds them her blood. And I think, can blood be used for healing non-vampires? I know it said something if you want to heal as a vampire, you need to give blood. Is that true?
So that's a Vampire Diaries thing. All right, so Vampire Diaries thing has the blood healing non-vampires. I'm not sure. I have to go look that up while we're talking. But Vitae can help you in a lot of different ways, from powering up to...
Can it help the cats, though?
That's the question.
Well,
Especially
so basically she found all these
thralls.
rescue cats, and then she fed them her blood, she took them and she rescued them. She's got like a dozen cats. There's always at least 2 or 3 hanging around her, and they've all got names on them. There's like a Beelzebub, who she calls Bub. I do have a backstory, Katee. I made a backstory. And she's got Hecate, and she's got what was the other one with named something really silly? But anyway, so her cats hang around her all the time. They're her spies. I'm totally fine with you having me roll like stealth for the cats in case they like try to jump very elegantly on something and then like absolutely fall and take everything crashing down. And so she's compelled to rescue any animal she sees. But then the Malkavian madness is the voices in the head, which is sometimes it's sort of, you can see flashes of what other vampires in the same clan are doing or experiencing. You hear voices. They might not necessarily be right all the time. And then she also occasionally, if she accidentally kills someone or on purpose because there's a really bad person, she's an alley cat feeder. So she generally is just like taking the cat thing seriously. Generally tries to find like criminals or people on the street that she doesn't feel bad about eating from. So if it goes too far and she kills them, she practices this art of forget the term for it. Basically, divination through the reading of entrails. And so her cats assist her in that, where they get to eat the corpse and spread the entrails, and then she like divines what she thinks she's reading from the entrails. I don't think it happens all the time because I think I saw that it really lowers your humanity score. I think it's more like an accidental thing. But she cares so much more for animals than people that she kind of doesn't care. And yeah, so that's her. Yeah, she's the crazy cat lady who's just wants to find her daddy and get more cats.
I am here for Jenny's character, Reaper. Maybe your character thinking, Isabel thinking that Reaper is possibly
but it can't
her
be
daddy.
right because he's not the right
But it
clan.
can't be right.
I have a feeling my character's probably gonna imprint on multiple people being like, "Are you my daddy?"
Exactly.
Like, you're like the book.
Like, so I'm here for that within the
mother?
group. Like, are you my daddy?
Yeah, she really doesn't know. Like,
And
she wouldn't know.
And I think Piper, I think it gives you a good chance to like really mess my character up if we ever get to the reveal of whoever my daddy is.
Yes. I'm probably gonna tuck that into a back pocket.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's her.
I like it, Gabrielle. You've been pretty quiet, both in the internal Discord, behind the scenes, offline, and then also here.
It's a big surprise. No, it isn't.
Give us the
But
things.
I sort of talked about what I wanted with my character, and now I figured out that this is the 55-year-old retired Olympic gymnast. He had to retire at 26 because he got injured. Like, he was gonna win gold. Like, no one had a question that he was gonna win gold. And then he got injured just before the Olympics. And so after that, like, I'm considering him like becoming an alcoholic for the years just after the accident, but I'm not set into that. His name is Santiago Velez, and he is of Colombian and Venezuelan descent, and he went to the US to be a gymnast. And after the accident, he volunteered for the Peace Corps, where he spent like 12 years or something. Like, literally, that was all he did, like traveling around countries, knowing a lot of things and places. And after that, when he was like around 40, so yeah, sort of. He returned to Colombia to be a gymnastics teacher and rescue stray animals because animals are what he loves.
Sarah's like, Daddy!
Oh, Tibbie's all about you, Daddy.
I was thinking that when you said that she loved.
Almost everybody's
animals.
her daddy except for Cooper's character. 'Cause he's
Yeah.
so new,
My
can't
character
be.
has organically developed a hatred for all animals through the course of this conversation.
Oh my goodness.
I have an army of cats that can rip out your entrails. I just want you to remember that.
And it would hurt because you're dead. You like lived through it a lot longer than a human would.
Can vampires be allergic to cats?
Oh, that would be so
Technically-
funny.
Technically, no. Your mind could play tricks on you, but your actual
I
body
was
isn't like
allergic
getting
to
actually
cats.
allergens. Yeah.
Also, I love the idea of like a hypochondriac vampire where everyone's like, no, you can't have that illness. You're the undead now. And it's like,
Like
oh, I
you're
don't know.
Your cells are not
Symptoms
reacting
match
that
up.
way.
I get lightheaded every time I stand up. I don't know.
You don't have blood of your own with T cells of your own to have an allergic reaction of your own. If you drink somebody who's having an allergic reaction to cats, you might be able to get that feeling back.
Ooh, question for Gabriel's character.
Yeah.
If you drink the blood of a drunk person, do you get drunk? And is that how he's continuing his alcoholism?
Theoretically.
Supposedly, yeah. Theoretically, yeah. But I'm not like really set on that. For the moment, my character, he is what is it? A farmer predator type. He only eats rats.
Only eats
Rodents.
Rodents.
Only eats rodents. Like that's his only. the
So we
only
could
thing
get you
he
a
feeds on.
capybara, and that still works.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's what I thought because there are different rodents around the world. So he feeds only on rodents. And what else?
Wait,
He
did we decide that Gabriel's character has a capybara?
That's what I just heard.
I love it.
Is it a thrall?
I mean, you
Is
don't
he
have
a
to
blood
kill
thrall
him.
capybara?
Capybaras are large enough. You might not have to kill them if you had enough in your basement.
It would be kind of.
You've had enough in your basement.
You want to go down to my capybara dungeon?
That might not be the best. Like maybe you had a conservatory that they all lived in. like
The
that might
You
not be
need
the
a lot
best.
of food for them. A lot of food.
I
to
mean,
keep
they're
them.
herbivores. They tend to eat like a lot of their body weight in vegetation. But
Yeah.
if you wanted to
And-
Not the
figure it
capybara
out,
effect.
they're overgrown hamsters, but they're so cute.
Overgrown like.
They're
Anaconda
big.
food. Yeah.
Yeah, they're anaconda food. Yeah, man.
What else? He also uses a cane because
Mhm.
he used a cane when he had his limp after the injury.
So he actually still uses it. Is it a
He uses
psychosomatic
it like
thing?
yes, like out of habit because he's like, as he's a neonate, he uses it like he's still using it like out of habit too because he doesn't have the limp, of course. And he's a gangrel, so he is like very huge pacifist. Doesn't want to hurt anything. But given that he's a gangrel, if he gets his bane and he gets his rages, oh, maybe it could be drunken rages. And well, he can transform into things. I don't know which animal. Maybe a big capybara. to
Yeah.
Kill things.
That'd be horrifying. Like the stuff in nightmares.
Capybara
honestly.
on bath salts. Go.
Capybara
I mean,
teeth.
Have you ever seen capybaras fight back against crocodiles? I dare you to Google it.
What? Okay.
They
Writing
have
that down.
huge teeth.
What
Like, they
kind
could-
of rabbit hole are you sending me down?
It's gonna get weird.
Of the rabbit holes that I ever send anyone down, this is a very, very sweet one.
Is it sweet for the crocodile? Cause
No.
Sure.
Sure. Yes.
I mean,
sure.
I doubt it kills the crocodile. It's more like the crocodile just doesn't get the meal.
It's like
I'll
a
look it up
cat
later.
chasing off a black bear kind of thing.
I mean, I give cats a lot more credit than that. They are ridiculously efficient predators. A capybara is not technically a predator, so it's more like watching a rabbit fend off a wolf, right? Like it can happen.
Ooh.
There's video
rabbits
of
are
it happening.
terrifying though. So
Rabbits fighting snakes is one of the most interesting videos.
Oh, I'm
She's
really
like writing stuff
Oh,
down
yeah.
in Google. Piper, what have you been watching? Look, TikTok takes me down some really interesting routes, okay? I'm in like animal TikTok all the time. That's how I found Cooper the Corgi, who lives on a boat and has a collection of very nifty, very, very, very good looking bow ties.
Oh.
I like bow ties. All right, Katie,
Um,
you're up.
Yes, that's me. My character is Evangeline Albrecht. She's Hectata. Is that how we decided how it's said? She comes from a super rich family, like very hoity-toity. She dresses like super dark academia, like
Yeah.
yeah. And she was a grad student at whatever college that Coop went to, or Coop's character went to. Probably don't know each other, but in passing.
I believe your character is supposed to be older than mine.
Yeah, she's a couple years older at least. And yeah, she she's a big Hannibal fan. Was pre like vampire, and it's become like a fixation of sorts. And so it just so happens that things lined up really well, and she's one of the sub clans that, for various reasons, she, in lieu of drinking blood, she can actually like eat people alive and get nourishment from that.
Oh my
And-
god.
Yeah, I found that and I was like, it's kismet, perfect. She also cooks people occasionally, not very well. She's not very good at it, and
She
she's
needs to get
definitely-
better
You to
because-
offer us like your home baked like. Do you
But
want?
this is
Tater
gonna be like
tots
Fear
with
Factor. Like, have
green
you
beans.
watched Fear Factor where they try to cook something that would be otherwise a thing that the contestants have
I'm
never
just
tried
saying,
before?
if someone was like, say, trying to cling to their humanity and trying to still eat food, and like my character would be so happy to help. Like, yeah, I'll feed you.
That's me.
So good. And yeah, she is not super upfront about anything ever, and is very shady, and you know, we'll just see how it plays out. But she's definitely got ulterior motives, and it's just so glad to be here. But she's an asshole. Like, she's rich and was born rich, and silver spoon in her mouth, and everything's ever been handed to her until she's had like one setback, and now she's obsessed. So you know, and she thinks that the world owes her. So it's gonna be fun.
All right,
I did want to add a clarifying detail for mine, because I realized that basically everyone else talked about how they relate to their clan, and I didn't mention anything for Toreador. And so, to keep it brief, my character vandalizes through graffiti in places they shouldn't be, mostly for the thrill of it, and that's kind of how that manifests. That's all.
Do they like find graffiti like super beautiful?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Ooh, this could be fun. All right. So I think, dang it, Jenny, did you mention your clan and I didn't take a note on it?
Toreador.
Toreador. Yeah, that's right, because you and Cooper both. Okay.
Daddy.
That just broke me. Please excuse. We're gonna have to come up with something. Like, I need to figure out what the heck the Vampire the Masquerade equivalent for inspiration points are gonna be, because you break Piper, you get an inspiration point.
I feel like we could just
You're
call
over
it
the
inspiration
top.
points, even if they don't have like an actual term for it. Like, we know what that is.
Yeah,
Excellent.
we do. Although, like, I think we're gonna have to have those, and I'll have to think about what effect they have that you can use in game.
Love this for us.
We're already
that
going
street
homegrown.
reference?
It's like, what?
Well, that's the beauty, honestly, of like, or the excitement of playing with a bunch of people who don't know the game, is that like we don't know what rules we're breaking, and it actually might create a more interesting story as a result. Because it's like, well, can we do this? Here's my pitch on why I should eat human flesh, and you're like, oh, that seems legit. So
Yeah, I'll take it. It's storytelling. It's fine.
yeah, so I think it's gonna be great.
I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
good with
that's
this.
maybe one thing I kind of want to throw in is I am pretty positive I am the least experienced with RPG of everybody here, and I'm like a little bit terrified that I'm gonna be awkward when it comes to the actual mechanics of the play. Like, when you guys keep throwing out when this
That's
happens,
okay.
whatever, and I'm like, I don't exactly know what that means, but I'm just gonna sit here and like I'm hoping through context I'm gonna figure it out.
Yes.
Well, and the nice
we're all
thing is
gonna
to be
bring
like,
each other along.
what do I roll for that, Piper? Please tell me. Or like, is there a thing like how does math work? So
yes. The math part I'm not going to guarantee I'm good at, but usually with rolls we will figure it out together. Like I will say,
well, there's only so
based on
many things to
context.
math up, so it'll be
Yeah.
like less than 10 dice probably. So it's fine. I can count to 10.
Oh yeah, it'll be
I've
like
watched
this
various-
and this.
I've watched various live play of different like D&D and other systems, and players are always asking their GM what they're supposed to be doing in terms of dice, even if they're experienced. So whatever.
And the
Yeah,
danger
like, do
here
I
is
roll
that
stealth
Piper
for
doesn't
this
know.
or
Mhm.
I'm
or
gonna say
they're like,
roll
so that's
this.
my like. Please be patient with me. I
That's
will
a
hopefully
wisdom
learn
roll?
quickly.
I thought it was a
but
charisma roll. What?
I might be a little bit lost.
it'll be great. We'll figure it out together.
Yeah, I mean, you are going to have the opportunity to convince me that maybe you could roll for this, but you're gonna have to tell me why, like, in terms of actions and role play. I will also say that I'm delighted when I see accessories in game. Like, you don't have to go all out and dress up as your character because nobody's got time for that. But
I already
say,
planned on
Don't they?
wearing a beanie in every session.
exactly like the beanie
Already
thing.
planned on it.
It's already built into your character. I'm fine with it, right? If somebody, like I saw in one other campaign, they were saying that this person tends to wear these huge sunglasses because their eyes give them away as a vampire, and so they wear really dark, big, huge glam sunglasses, and they have like celebrity status. I'm here for that. You know, if you have it and you take it off occasionally, you play with it occasionally. The canes, if they come in screen a little bit, I'm open to that. Like, I love that. The leather gloves. That might do something to everybody here. Like, you have cats coming in and out of your life all the time, Sarah. So it's like it's already built
Yeah,
in.
the cats
to
are
your
ready
home.
made.
Yeah.
I can take out the rats, that I have on the base in the
I
basement.
mean, I'm willing to pretend that one of your 6 dogs is a capybara. Like, it's just like-
Capybara is probably bigger than a lot of your dogs.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, bigger than half. There's two of the
Yeah.
smallest ones. Yeah, they're smaller than a capybara.
So, but this kind of thing is something that in-game details, especially if we're about to enter a particular scenario where your character has something odd going on or something eclectic going on. If you bring it in, A, it helps you get into the part more, and that's a lot of fun from an RPG perspective. And B, I just think it makes it really fun for storytelling, too. Like, when I played World of Darkness and I was a changeling, my character was a model, so sometimes I'd show up to game with knee-high boots. Like a really short skirt and knee-high boots. I was like, sure, like it was funny short, like the kind that you have to like have a blanket to sit down. Because there's no saving it. Like, it turns into a belt when you sit, and then you have to, like, do the smoothing action to
Turns
stand
into
up.
a belt.
Like, and then the high buffy boots. Yeah. I would do that every once in a while when I showed up at campaign, because that was my character, and that would be fun. All right. So, I'm here for that kind of gameplay, too. Whatever helps you get into this, like, get into the moment. I know voice actors do that a lot too. Like, you have something that's not going to make noise in front of your microphone, but it still gets you in. Props. I like that. All right, so that's clan. And we talked a little bit about clan details, but let's start with the Toreador. Because you have archetypes, and I'm not really worried about that. I'm more thinking about your disciplines and your clan banes. So,
I already have my disciplines, yeah.
Sweet.
I do have a question about disciplines. It's sort of like attached.
Overarching
So like
general?
your predator type also gives you a discipline, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you
Oh.
pick 2 from the 3 that you would have, and then you also have the 1 from the predator.
Correct.
Or
my understanding.
potentially. Okay, cool.
Potentially, because you're still going to have to like divvy up points between the disciplines. But so you could end up like just burying points into 2 of the 3 options that you have.
Yeah, because celerity is one for Alley Cat, and I don't have option to celerity as a Hatata.
But
So
you
that's why I was
could.
questioning.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, cool.
All right.
So the disciplines are coming from they're
clan.
the ones that I see listed on my clan.
Yeah.
And then am I like doing anything with them, or like is there a decision there, or I'm just putting those in?
They
and
give
it's
you
not options?
there's different kinds of disciplines, and you're going to have a certain number of points that you can assign for each discipline. Right. So for Toreador, we have Auspex and Celerity and Presence. Right? So that's the fantastic thing about it. Like, Toreador in particular, like, when they can manage presence and they master it well, it's just the ability for manipulation is ridiculous here. Like, I keep thinking this is not a good movie, but I keep, like, for your character, I keep imaging this, so you might have to create a vision board to get this out of my brain, but Queen of the Damned.
Yeah.
Lestat.
Like, visually,
Lestat's, like, vibe. Especially in the underworld scenes, like when he's walking through the clubs and all of those girls, like, throwing themselves at his feet to be eaten.
Yeah.
That vibe.
You understand me,
really,
Piper.
I'm glad. But that's what I'm thinking, like that. So what you would do is you'd pick the disciplines that you're going to use, and then we will talk about how many points you can put into them. So you can get disciplines in 2 ways: clan and predator type.
Okay.
Right? So what I want you to do is think about it, right? Like, from disciplines for Toreador, right? Auspex is something where in the core book, if we're reading straight from the core book, it says Toreador are ever on the hunt for exquisite experiences. Titillating experiences, maybe, but exquisite, regardless. And use Auspex to identify the most susceptible vessels and those who might, through their feelings and temperament, offer new tastes and sensations to the drinker during the feed. So this is something where I'm going to go back to that question about alcohol and drunk people and whether you can get drunk. You're not getting drunk on the alcohol content in their blood. You're not getting high off of someone who's had opiates. What you're doing is you're getting high off the sensations that they're feeling. So their experience of being high, their experience of being drunk. And also, as an extension, regardless of substance use, a person being giddy with delight, a person trembling in fear, those heightened emotions are things that you can relive and re-experience, and it will impact the taste of the blood you're feeding on. So, think about that when you're thinking about Auspex. It's not just limited to, hey, is this person sexually attracted to me and therefore I can bite them, right? Like, it is also someone is afraid and yet caught in that moment where they want the predator to take them, but they're also terribly afraid of what the impact and consequences will be. And just think about how delicate a morsel that would be, right? And then also, on the other side of it, if you're the type of vampire that decides to limit their feeding from a moral perspective to certain types of people that you think do evil, you would look for a predator, a terrible person who is on the cusp of doing a terrible thing, and they're about to be in ecstasy because they got to do this thing, like kill this person, abuse this animal, whatever terrible thing they're going to do. And you feed on them at the cusp, at the height of that moment. You get that rush and remember what it's like to be alive, but you also taken out that bad guy. So that gives you some flex as to who you're going to feed on and why. And that also speaks to predator type. So Auspex allows you to kind of find those people. Like, whatever your preferred taste are is, there's only one clan, I think, that has an actual rare tastes situation going on. I don't think any of you are that clan. So you're not limited by that on who you can feed on. But it's like any other type of beverage. Some people like sparkling water. Go for, a very bubbly fae, right? On the other hand, some people like their vintages dark and very, very dry. Think about what kind of personality and what they do and what your method of hunting is to get them. So Auspex there. We also have a note that Toreador also frequently use Auspex on other kindred to cater to their desires or antagonize them. So based on Auspex, how to push someone else's buttons. Which I don't think is on brand at all. think that you can play a character like that very well. Celerity, on the other hand, theoretically not combatants, but you move quick. Move super quick. So using celerity to cut an opponent to ribbons before they even have time to draw their weapon. So you're definitely that thing that we've seen in Vampire Diaries and the originals where vampires move so quick, like it's in the burst of a thought. So that's when that will come into play. Or the scene at the end of Interview with a Vampire when Brad Pitt like slams Christian Slater up into the ceiling, like that poof kind of situation. That would be celerity. You don't have to use it just in attack mode or just in combat. You could use it to an artistic effect, and that could be delightful. I mean, Batman's kind of got celerity in his own way every time you turn around and he's gone. Right? So, if you want to use it for dramatic effect, or if you want to use it to, like, step off stage and the whole stage go, you could do it that way, too. And then presence, I think, I'm not even sure we even need to, like, get into that. I mean, that's that. All right, so your Bane is something I want you to also think about as Toreadors, and how the Bane is going to impact you.
This is the one I'm the most uncertain about. I actually already figured out the disciplines, but I mean, I picked one based on a guide. It's aesthetic fixation. It exemplifies the old saying that art in the blood takes strange forms, desire beauty so intensely that they suffer in its absence. I don't know if I'm like married to that idea, but that's what I have written down for now.
I think one of the things that you have to realize is that in ways, like if you're going to be fixated on things that are beautiful and you're new, depending on what you find beautiful, that could really be to your detriment. Like if you find sunrises beautiful, you'll stare at it until it roasts you. Right? So then it would be up to the people around you to break your fixation and get you to safety. Like, so you need to choose carefully, because I think that it's an amazing challenge, but also, like, another thing would be like a Moby Dick fascination, right? Like if you think that white whale is the most beautiful thing in the ocean, that you have to hunt it down, you have to kill it. That could also be an interesting thing. So things of beauty, and it doesn't have to necessarily be a thing of beauty in physical form. Could be that beautiful music, no matter what, you'll stop and listen. Right? Like it doesn't have to be visual. It could be auditory. It could be a scent. Like an amazing, amazing scent. Like there's just this one baker.
Right.
And you have to hunt this baker down because they always make like this incredible bakery near you, and you stop everything. It's actually a danger to your existence because it is such a beautiful scent.
Okay. I think I know what I would do for this. It would probably be something to the effect of tattoos.
But you also, as Toreador, like, suffer in the absence of beauty. So, like, if you're somewhere that, like, sucks, then there's some penalty or something, right?
Like, I think that, like, especially with your graffiti being a thing, your character may suffer very badly in psychologically approved beige corporate cube spaces.
Yeah.
Right, where like there's no art at all, there's no personalization, there's nothing but all psychologically approved gray walls, gray ceiling, gray floor, no windows. Like I think that like you'd go mad if you didn't at least swipe something across something, and blood could be really beautiful on gray. Just
And the aesthetic fixation, why is that hard to say? That is a clan thing. Like that is mine too. It's just how it. Okay.
How it
As long
expresses.
I was
as I
like,
can
I'm
tell
gonna
it's
sound like
the
I'm
only
copying
one.
you, but
Like,
mine,
so
I think,
That's something we both have to decide.
yeah, similarly be horrified by like the suburbs or corporate spaces, those sorts of things. It would be like,
Yeah, like places
Why are
with
you wearing
tofu
a
for
shirt?
personalities. And I say that loving tofu, by the way, but it's still the sameness could be what makes you suffer. All right, so that's Toreador. Who do we want to go next? Katie, I'm going to send you for last because you're not in the core book.
Nope.
Let's go with the Malkavian.
It's gotta be special.
The problem child. I'm like, how can I eat people?
That's not even how you started out, right?
No!
Malkavian's not in the core book either, is it? How do we spell Malkavian?
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Hold on.
Yeah, they are.
There it is. I put an E where
There's
an A was.
cat warfare happening in the background.
Cat cam.
Just from like a mechanic standpoint, though, like on the fillable character sheets that we have under disciplines, there's like 6 boxes, and
I believe
each
you can
have...
develop more.
Over time. And as you
Okay, so I'm
become
not
more
filling
powerful.
that whole thing right now.
No, because you'll get you start with a certain number of points. So like if you have like, for example, 2 points in celerity, you can pick 2 like specialties within celerity up to level 2. And then those are specialties that would go under that line, under that, like on that list. And
Okay,
then
I
you
need to
can
go back
use
and
those.
look at that part of the video.
Yeah, if you see
Yeah.
something different, let me know. But because we're neonates, I believe we are allowed to have 3 level 1 disciplines.
3 level 1 disciplines, yes. But remember that you might get one from your predator type. So
I was looking that up and I couldn't find anything attached to the one that I had, which I've also come to learn through looking at forums is one of the more difficult predator types, so I might change it. But I had consensualist.
it is actually kind of hard because how do you maintain the masquerade but also get consent?
I was going to...
Well, with like, I mean, you can like massage consent with Toreador in particular.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I had 3 different ideas for how that could be executed, but we'll see.
Okay.
So it's 3 level 1s. It's not 3 points to spend across 2. I'm just trying. I did it wrong.
Depends. Hold on.
I think you're feeding. Well, the predator type gives you, for example, for me, gives me 2 points for protein.
Yeah,
And I-
the alley cat gives you 1 point for celerity.
Yeah. Hold on. This is one
Sorry,
of those
like I
ones
said,
where...
problem child. Problem child.
No,
too many-
not a problem child at all because this actually matters for everybody. I just lost the summary page that had it on there. Do. Ah!
Can I ask something else when you're looking, or do you want me to wait?
Yeah, you can ask. I may or may not take it in, but you can ask.
Or, I mean, Katie might have the answer, or somebody else. But, like, so when I've picked my predator type and it's saying, like, spend 3 dots between blah and blah,
Yeah.
that's
That's what the dots are.
addition to
Yes.
what I have already done. I'm, like, adding to it.
Yeah,
Correct.
it will be like something like backgrounds, or you get a specialty in like a skill set, like
Yeah.
or something like that. Like it kind of walks you through how to do that. So like the alley cat, I don't know, it gives you a couple different things. Yeah.
But so if...
But
like,
it's in
the
addition to,
Piper
not
had-
instead of.
Yeah. Okay, because Piper had given the guidelines of, like, 1 at 4, 3 at 3, and then, like, the...
Yeah, but these add on top of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so my numbers will exceed that, and that does not mean I'm cheating. Okay.
Right.
Correct. That's okay.
Because I think we know what kind of predator type I am.
Yeah.
Oh, I love you all.
Listen, I'm an alley cat, and only because I like the hunt. I'm like, yeah, be scared, bitch. So, it's great. My person's a monster. It's wonderful.
We love her.
Blood posted. Thin bloods and disciplines. Nope. How do you hunt? Choose your disciplines after characters first become. They gain various disciplines. Okay, yeah. So each of you are to pick 2 disciplines for your clan as neonates. And nobody's Kaitif, so I don't have to worry about that. Yeah, so you're picking 2 disciplines, and you take 2 dots in one and 1 dot in the other.
Perfect. So you
That's
can go
where it
up to
is.
level 2 and the one with 2. Okay.
Right. So, and the way that works, we're going to get to when we start talking about your disciplines, right? So just remind me to come back to that. But for now, just know that you can take 2 dots in one, and you can take 1 dot in the other. And then your predator type may give you an additional discipline.
I don't think my predator type has an additional discipline. I can't find anything about it.
Which one's your predator type?
Consensualist.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They make that sound naughty.
I mean, one of the primary ways of doing it is through sexual, something like a partner or something like that. But there are ways to do it outside of a relationship.
So if your predator
Yeah, you
type
don't get an extra
adds it,
discipline, Cooper.
could you end up with 3 disciplines?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So as a consensualist, you don't get an extra discipline, but you do gain other things. Wait, you do get disciplines, Auspex and Fortitude. Oh, but your clan already has that, so
Wait, wouldn't you get an extra dot in it as a
you would
result
get an
then?
extra dot.
Wait, hold on. What is it?
Auspex.
Yeah, I have
Historiator.
Auspex.
Yeah, and consensualist has 1 dot of Auspex or Fortitude.
Now, here's a technical question, because after the conversation we just had, I had given myself a 2nd dot in Auspex. Can I give myself a 3rd dot now?
Yes, you can. And
Yeah.
we'll talk to you about how you can use those dots. All right. So I feel all proud of myself, but wish I could have remembered to get to that, like remembered where that was, looked that up faster, because right now
That's fine.
You got
That's
there.
my-
Yeah, that's fine.
You got there.
that's my job, is trying to find the answer faster than you could by yourself. Malkavians. All right, let's look at Malkavians and talk about your disciplines.
Yeah. I've got Dementation and Auspex are 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the 2 I picked.
Probably.
And then I know Alley Cat is Celerity. And I think I can also could do Obfuscate.
Yes, you could. The
Um,
3 are Auspex,
but-
Dominate, or Obfuscate. Dominate comes in handy for Malkavians. Just gonna mention
Oh,
that.
is it Dominate? It's not Dimension?
No, it's not Dimension.
Dimension.
It's Dominate.
Oh! Oh.
Auspex,
God. Okay.
Dominate,
I thought
or
they-
Obfuscate.
Okay, I'm looking at a wrong wiki because I know that they had switched from Dementation to Dominate, but then I thought they had switched back.
Nope, they're at Dominate. As of 5e core book. V5, whatever.
Okay.
5th edition core book. So we have Auspex, which allows you to enhance your senses, strengthening your sight, hearing to a natural, supernatural level. Also be able, or you could determine a mortal's fears, which could come in handy, illusions and mental weaknesses. So you can play on them horribly as you prepare to feed. A little bit of torture going on here.
Sarah does like torture.
It does. So, Dominate is to lift all distractions from a victim's
I'm
mind.
trying to, so my character
You've got a cat finger going on behind you, and it's hysterical.
my character is going to be a bit of a specialist in terms of the occult and in investigation.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to figure out what works best with that.
I mean, you can draw forth or inflict psychoses through the... So, Dementation is considered a variant of Dominate.
With which one?
Dominate. So, Dementation is still there.
So I can do Dementation.
You can. It's considered a specialization of Dominate. Like, there are things that you can do in the Dominate discipline that allows you to do the Dementation. But that's basically rolling somebody's mind over and enthralling them. Okay? Whereas Obfuscate is just to... You forgot everything. Like, this is definitely something that we see in Vampire Diaries and the originals, is like the look in the eyes and forget this. Right?
Mm.
How you use it is creative.
Okay.
So that's the thing.
So basically,
That's a very
my 3
subtle
I can
one.
pick from are so my things are either I can pick from Dominate, Obfuscate, and Auspex. And I can pick 2 of them, and then I can add Celerity as an Alley Cat.
Correct.
Cool.
And you can get creative with how that, how that plays out with your character and how she would use it.
And when we're talking clan banes, is that just like the clan bane is madness sort of thing for the Malkavians?
Yes.
Oh.
But hold on. Gabian Bane. Of course I can't find that. Because I spelled it wrong again.
That one's tricky.
I really want to spell it with an E. You know, I really want to spell it with an E. So
Did
yes,
you know
your
that
Bane...
that from the White Wolf Wiki, a related community to Vampire the Masquerade is Animal Crossing?
How?
I know, that's just what it says. It says you want a related community to this one? Animal Crossing.
I mean,
Seems very thematically accurate.
Katie and I still have our islands. We could always do stuff with it.
I don't know if I do.
While.
You can't like trample other people's islands and like destroy everything.
Can I eat people?
No, unfortunately not, because there's some annoying freaking
But you
characters
can
in that
dress
game.
all of your villagers up as sushi. I might have done that.
You know, we've all got our thing.
Like Halloween, you can dress them all up in cute little characters. Like I gave them all Victorian and Renaissance outfits, and then another time I gave them all sushi.
Honestly, sounds on brand for me now. So
Like seriously,
You dress them up as sushi because
I have a labyrinth on my Animal Crossing island with it's a bathtub, but a minotaur in the labyrinth. That was fun.
Like but now
not a real one.
Okay, I'm untabling the Minotaur question for later.
We don't milk the minotaur,
24
that was a
ounces.
question.
Missed opportunity.
but it's a bathtub. Just saying, it's a bathtub, which means you could fill the minotaur. Okay.
By the way, that book is coming in the mail today. I bought it for my office library, of which that will be the only book in the office library. It was done with consent of my coworkers.
If you're only gonna have one book,
That's
I
the book to
mean,
have, frankly. I mean, I don't know. The conversation piece on it is just
it's impactful.
A+.
All right. So yes, you have you have a mental derangement that you're gonna have to figure out and write it out on your character sheet, whatever your bane is. It's going to be a derangement that has to do with your history and the state of your mind at death. Okay. So it could take a lot of different forms. You can get creative with it. It could be delusion. It could be visions. I mean, Are You My Daddy could be really twistedly tied up with your bane, and I think that would be fun.
Yeah. Well, it was like this moment of tremendous trauma that she processed by imprinting on the instigator of that trauma, and then that's the narrative that she has told herself.
Exactly. So if
like,
the narrative goes to a terrible
that's
place,
my daddy. He loves me.
Yeah. So if you're suffering your bane, then that could twist into a really, really negative place.
Yeah.
So you could.
But also, I do hear. I think all Malks hear voices and things because of the communal Malk mind.
Yeah, you're all like you've got like a little bit of a hive mind going on.
There's no milking, but there is malking.
Gotta be very careful with that. All right, let's go to Gabriel. I got creeped out by Malkavian.
Yep.
Okay. You just went that little bit too far.
is it this gesture?
Good.
Oh man.
All right.
I think I have it figured out.
Yeah? All
Sort
right,
of,
hit me.
because I can have Protean, Animalism, and Fortitude, and my Predator type gives me either Protean or Animalism. So I guess I could put at least like 1 point on each from the
You
three of
could.
them.
If you want it to be well balanced, yes. Or you could like plow it all on into heavy discipline.
So I think I'm going with one each, and I have the.
You
The
still get
disciplines,
2
like-
on one of them.
Yeah. You can get
I
two,
get two?
and then one.
Oh, sweet.
Wait, so
And then-
hold on. The predator types question is it an either or? Like if he could do extra points for both, or is it he has to pick one to do the extra points on?
Pick one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it says or in this
Yeah,
one
it says or.
in particular.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And so yeah, it's gonna be 2 points in Protean,
Mm-hmm.
1 point and 1 in Animalism and Fortitude.
Okay.
And do I have to give you? I mean, we will send you.
You'll be loading. There's
Sweet.
going to be a common Google Drive where you'll be loading your character sheet, so you'll be able to see each other's character sheets. If there are things about your character that you don't want your fellow players to know, not saying anybody's already done that, then you email that to me directly. And that can be an extension of your character sheet. But
Oh, nice. I think I have something.
secrets are always okay. You can.
In terms of the mechanics of gameplay, like I understand how I'm supposed to be picking this. I'm just not completely sure how those are going to translate into the play. So like that option that you just had where it was 3 that are sort of more spread out or 2 where you're kind of a powerhouse.
I think you'll feel better once we get into some of the disciplines or some of the
Okay.
actual choices of the disciplines. So hold that thought. I
Okay.
think you'll be okay.
Yeah, because I feel rather stacked with my 3 in a single category right now. I have at least one really useful ability that could create some fun situations.
Okay.
And a lot of it, Jenny, is figuring out if you want to be a specialist or a generalist. So if you want to be jack of all trades, good at a lot of things, or like really good at one thing, and then maybe kind of garbage at everything else.
I
It's-
think I might have misled everyone. I'm talking about the disciplines, like the stuff
Yeah,
we
no, the
just talked about.
disciplines. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
No, I'm
Wait,
okay.
it took it
I'm
It
with
sounds
you.
very
like you guys
powerful.
are talking about skills, though.
No, it's
Okay.
a little bit different. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me get
But
there.
the
So hold-
disciplines do
put a pin
give
in
you
that.
like certain abilities,
Yeah.
They
Okay.
do.
not skills, but like so celerity, like you're super fast or whatever.
So
They get crazy. But like the higher level, like if you have 3 points, you can choose the level 3 discipline, and they
Exactly.
get crazy. Like
all right, let's dive into it because we're already talking about it instead of putting a pin in it, like I told
But
you
we
to.
skipped Katee, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Oh,
Katie,
I'm gonna go fast because I picked mine out already.
all right, well
Yeah.
then
Oh,
I'm
okay.
gonna put a pin in it and let's keep this conversation going because
Okay,
I know
I
you
have
already
mine
pretty
as
much.
well.
So disciplines. Each discipline has like almost like spells based on the levels that you have, right? So let's pick one of the disciplines that you. What's one of the disciplines that you chose? Actually, which one's the
Presence.
one that you put 2 points in?
Mine is Protean.
Protean.
Oh.
Okay.
Protean, and my second level discipline is Feral Weapons.
All right.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, my badger teeth, not badger,
Capybara.
Alright.
capybara teeth.
So let's start with the fact that the discipline is Protean, right? So we read that short little paragraph within the clan about it. There's a different place in the core book that goes into them in detail, and it goes into more detail about Protean, right? And the various things that you can do with Protean. Now, at level 1, Gabriel could have chosen Eyes of the Beast or Weight of the Feather, which are 2 different talents in the level 1. 1 point equals one of those things. Okay? Because Gabriel has 2 points in this, then Gabriel can also pick a level 1 and a level 2. Right? So for each point you get 1, but you only get 1 in each category. If you want 2, where you go Eyes of the Beast, and you want Weight of the Feather, then you have to use both your 2 points, and you cannot pick that level 2. Right?
So
Or-
like with Toreador, it leans either like the sexy or the like
It
scary.
does.
And so like you kind of choose your own adventure with that.
Okay.
So let's pick one of your things. Let's go
Can
with
I
presents.
like set up because I already picked mine and we're in the same clan, so I think there will be some overlap in ours. I
Sure.
don't know if that'll help or not, but my 2 disciplines
probably.
that I picked were Auspex and Celerity.
Okay.
And
Let's go with
so in
Auspex
Auspex, I put in 3 points. So
Okay.
at the first level, I picked Heightened Senses. I can't remember what the other thing was, but there was another option there. Do you know what I'm talking about?
It's Sensient Scene is the other one.
Yeah.
Sensing and Seeing. And then at the second level, it opened up and I had several more options, of which I picked Sense Vibrations. But there was another one that
Yeah.
made it so that I could sense the intent of an artist just by looking at their piece or something to that effect.
Yeah.
So let's back up. Let's talk about
Or
Auspex.
sensible.
Right. Auspex has a couple of characteristics. It's a mental type of discipline. The masquerade threat for using most of the Auspex things is pretty low. Like, you using it is less likely to break the masquerade by accident. Okay? And then your blood resonance is something that is going to come into play, because you could end up drinking from a vessel, that has blood resonance with your discipline. In this case, phlegmatic. Artists, especially photographers, visionaries, certain schizophrenias, users of psychoactive substances, and detectives, you're going to have a blood resonance of phlegmatic. And that's going to come into play when it comes to later on. But
I'm assuming you'll explain that, because that's the one thing that I'm like,
Yeah.
what does that mean?
I don't think that's
Yeah.
immediately, like, don't worry about that. I feel like you'll get overwhelmed if we think too much about that. at the moment.
Exactly. We'll encounter
Good
it
note,
when we
thanks.
encounter it, because I will probably do it to you on purpose, and then we can talk about it there. But at level 1, level 1, you have a choice between heightened senses, which kind of speaks for itself, and sense the unseen, which would be attuning to dimensions beyond the mundane. You get to be that cat that looks up and sees a thing that nobody else sees, kind of thing. And knowing this allows you to know what dice pools you're going to use when I tell you that you say that you're going to use this discipline to do a thing in the story. This discipline, you look at it and say, okay, if I pick heightened senses, like that's a 1 point, level 1 point, and you have to pick one of them. You can't get to level 2 without having at least one of those, right? Then you know what your dice pool is. Like, heightened senses would be your wits plus your resolve. Okay? If you chose sense the unseen instead to use your point on, then it would be wits plus auspex, or resolve plus auspex, right? So you kind of like use those two different things.
To see if you would succeed in using it in roleplay.
To see if you would succeed in doing the action that you described to me that you're going to do.
so you're like, I look around the room to see if there's anything like that I can't see, and so Piper
And
will
I'm
say,
going to use heightened senses. I'll be like,
Yeah.
roll this.
yeah, and then you'll roll, and if you succeed, it'll be like, oh,
You see
well,
this.
maybe you see something or maybe you don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
If you
really does
fail-
become intuitive after you've done it for a little while. It doesn't
Yeah,
take very long
I'm
to pick
kind of
up on it after
trusting
you
that.
do it a couple times.
Yes. All right. So here's the catch, though. If you have 2 points in the same discipline, you can pick one from level 1, one from level 2, or you can pick both from level 1 because you just can't choose, right? Here's the thing. Some people who are like, okay, what if I just put all 5 of my points eventually? Like, if I fill up all 5, does that mean I can hop straight to a level 5? No, you have to have a point in each of the levels.
Like stair step it up.
Stair step it. Yep. So that's a thing. So you gotta have at least one in level 1. You gotta have at least one in level 2 to get to level 3. That's why there's 5 dots and only 3 levels.
Huh.
That's what I was trying to explain before about like the various dots and stuff. All right, so that hopefully will help you decide like kind of where you want to pool more points when it comes to your disciplines based on what kinds of level 1, 2, 3 abilities that you can have within that discipline.
Okay, that's what I need to sit and think about.
All right. So homework between now and our opening session, if we think that we can start our opening session, because I am open to doing another planning session like this just to give us plenty of time to ask our questions. But homework is to really study your disciplines now and then decide what level 1, level 2 abilities you're going to have within that to write into your character sheets. Choose your Are they called abilities? Am I using the wrong vocabulary? Characteristics? No.
Or
Attributes and skill?
Nope, not attributes and skill.
Which one's the disciplines?
In each discipline.
I think they're just
Traits that you
disciplines.
get.
Or
Yeah.
I think it's,
I'm seeing powers in the wiki I'm on.
Yeah.
I mean, power sounds very intuitive, I guess.
Wheel disciplines. So learning disciplines, selecting powers. Yeah, it's
Oh
disciplines
no, yeah,
and powers.
Yep.
Yeah, it's discipline and power. So within each chosen discipline, choose your powers. Okay. Based on the dots, and that'll help you. That's homework.
Where does that go in the sheet?
So in the sheet that we had, you would choose your discipline. In your case, let's say, pick whichever one it is, and then you would put the dots in. Let's say presence, and you would put the dots in, and then your level 1, like whatever your powers are, just list them.
Oh, I see. Okay, so
Under
I'm
1,
not
2, 3,
writing
4,
the
5.
discipline on the line. I'm writing with the powers are the numbered ones, and the
Yes.
discipline is going next to the
It's in a
dots, and I'm
drop-down.
marking the dots. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just figured out that drop down right now, and I was like,
Woo! Drop
what
down.
an amazing PDF this is.
Yep. It is not mine. I found it. And props to the person who created it. Because it was like, there was another choice, but it's like 6 pages long, and I didn't want to do that to anybody. So it's like, 2's enough. All right, Katee.
Yes.
We're heading to you.
Okay. I get celerity because I'm an alley cat. I don't remember what my third one. It's Auspex, Fortitude, and then Oblivion, which is the Hectate specific. I'm doing 1 in Fortitude with Unswayable Mind, and 2 in Oblivion, which I am taking. I wrote it down. The Binding Fetter, which means I can identify objects and locations important to ghosts, and then the Arms of Ahriman, which means I summon a 2-dimensional shadow tendrils, which glide across surfaces and victims, alternatively engaging in mystical grapples with the victim's shadow.
Tendrils, and you can grapple someone's shadow.
I love.
Oh,
I'm
no.
imagining you in like the dark academia outfit doing this, and it's absolutely everything I've ever wanted.
Yeah, like this. Honestly, too much fun. So yes, those are my disciplines.
Delightful. Okay. So I think
Also, I am writing down what each one does because I'm not going to remember this based on like the name of it.
that's the other thing is you may want to keep a cheat sheet. I will probably be doing a cheat sheet just to remember what the heck each of you can do in terms of your clans and your disciplines and stuff, but you may personally want to have notes in a way that your brain can look at it and glance at it right away. That's why I was posting, like, if y'all decide to have a traveler's journal or a planner with your character stuff, I am more than happy for that. Like, there's gotta be washi tape for your character. There's gotta be.
Hey, are we answering the food question?
Yes, answer the food question for me. I was going to say go down the line. Cooper already answered, so Cooper's ahead of y'all.
My character's favorite food is veal.
Veal. Now, remember, this is a comfort food. It's not just favorite food.
Yeah,
It's
but
the
she's a
food
fancy
that makes
bitch.
you feel super comforted.
Silver spoon. She loves them baby animals.
Baby massaged cows. Got it. All right. So
Is veal like baby cows? I have no idea what it is.
Don't ask. Just eat it.
No, don't eat it.
It's right
Yes,
up there with
it
foie
is.
gras.
Yep.
Okay. Who's up next?
I like chocolate ice cream with sprinkles.
Your character?
Yes, the character does. It's not my favorite type of ice cream because I don't want you to ruin my favorite type of ice cream.
With sprinkles.
With sprinkles specifically.
All right. Anybody else? Next.
Mine is called. I just learned this today. I asked Colombian people.
Mm.
My food is sancocho. That's the name.
I'm gonna
And
need
it's
a
like a-
spelling.
Yeah, it's. I'll put it right there. It's a thick soup, like very homey soup, with potatoes, onions, plantains, and like different meats. You can choose like either chicken, veal, or whatever you want.
That would taste really good with pork or goat, really.
Yes.
Or human.
Or human. Yep.
Listen.
We're already going there.
Oh, like we went there before we even started.
I know we did. All right, Jenny.
Can I just straight up do bacon?
Yes.
Do you really want Piper to ruin bacon for you though?
You don't know
Can
that I'm going to
Piper
ruin
ruin
it for
bacon?
you. You don't know that I'm going to ruin it for you.
Cannot
I could
be
do
You
ruined.
told
something
us not to
incredibly
pick something that we
delightful.
actually love.
I mean, I said gives you comfort. Like, I didn't want you to mistake it as, like, this is your favorite thing that you love to eat all the time. This is the food that you feel the most comfort. That's your go-to for comfort, which is different than the food that you absolutely love.
Now I'm imagining
Grandmammy Albrecht.
Tibbie's gonna be like shaking sprinkles on like corpses and being like, oh, it tastes like home.
Like, you get the texture, and that's
Nah,
about it.
so, but the funny thing is that if you eat from like this thing that I did, if you eat from a corpse, if they're dead, it tastes bad. Like, so
gotta eat them slowly from the extremities in, right?
I mean, I don't know how much you have to eat to like get it, but like, yeah, if you fresh corpses work, but at the cost of flavor.
I mean, I will believe that because there's no blood circulation going on in a dead corpse.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
Congealed, it's like Jello. Like, who wants
Yeah, you have
that?
to work for it way more.
it's kind of like, I mean, pig's blood, right? Like, pig's blood is
Rigor
really...
mortis is a special type of like flavoring and preparation.
Well, plus like
Lactic
you figure
acid.
there's like some magic like transfer going on from like the lifeblood. So like the same with flesh. Like once they're dead, you don't get that same amount of.
Yeah, even less if you're not
Mhm.
going to drink a highly vascular portion of the body.
Listen, my character drinks blood. She just likes to spice it up a little bit.
I'm imagining with like a meat tenderizer with like a corpse with rigor mortis. Like, this is gonna be great.
It's
No,
gonna
no,
be
no.
good.
Good flank steak.
It's gonna work.
No, we do not second tier anything. I'm sorry. Like, do you know who I am? She is.
She's
Whatever.
gonna be doing human sashimi. So it's gonna.
I think we can relate. They're talking about eating rats and like bad people, and I'm like, give me the finest, hottest rats.
We already
Oh my
know
God.
where I would have gone with this, right? I'm like, eat bad people. At least eat bad people. There's enough bad people in this world. Come on.
I'm eating bad people.
Thank you.
Anyone below my tier is just like they're just food, baby. So
There's gonna be an NPC wandering around this place like,
What a
"Can't we all
terrible
just
person."
eat bad people?"
So, hey, I will
random
say
NPC.
though, I did do some of the merits and flaws and stuff, and I don't eat kids, so that's comforting.
that's in line with our lines and veils, so that's good. Also, yes, depending on your predator, take note, your predator type, in particular, has merits and flaws notes as well. I
And like
believe.
background.
So put that in your notes as to your. I'm not gonna look at your merits and flaws super deeply. Okay, so this is this is all integrity here because merits and flaws. Like, I'm not gonna make you go too deep into it. My request for you is to look at your predator type and stay true to what it tells you about what your merits and flaws you have to take for that. And then
And so
also,
are they only related to predator type?
No, you get it from other stuff too, because I.
Is there
don't
like
know.
an amount, a numbers, a set
like a
number?
minimum.
there is. I gotta find it in
Because
character
the
sheet.
flaws come from. Oh, never mind. That's touchstones and convictions.
And you
Yeah.
can add your own, I suppose.
That's how you tie in.
Like, depending on your character's background. Like, for example, mine is not really liked by anyone. Like,
This
he
is
doesn't
also
have
by
friends.
the storyteller.
Mine is the prey exclusion of kids and she ugly. So,
Okay.
All right, that's fair.
which
Is
I
it
was like,
written
that's
in
a
that way?
flaw.
She
I
ugly.
looked and I was like, okay, all right.
That's a flaw.
Listen, she's rich, but
So look at it this way. All right, advantages, merits, and flaws kind of come along together, right? So advantages, you in particular situations, they help and they can add to it. And so depending on what merit you take, you may have flaws that come along with it. Like if you have linguistics as a merit, the flip side of that is having a flaw of illiterate, and it tells you how many points you would have in that to have it. If you have a
so if
merit
you have
that's
linguistics,
looks,
you have to have the flaw associated with it.
no, it's just telling
okay.
you what the flip sides are.
Okay.
And you can just pick these as you want.
Not
We
necessarily.
You
Like,
gave me a number. didn't you?
Torador, it's.
Yeah, certain
Says-
characters, you get it from a couple of
Oh,
things.
but wait, it would It's not Toreador. It's my predator type that I'm looking
Right.
at. Never mind.
Mostly
Carry
you
on.
get it from your predator type. So, for example, the consensualist also gains the dark secret flaw. And you're a masquerade breacher because you have to tell them about the masquerade in order to gain their consent. So, you take 1 point in that. You also gain a feeding flaw of prey exclusion of non-consenting, right? Like, so you have 2 built-in flaws based on your predator type, Cooper, your character's predator type.
Which is the dark secret and what?
Dark secret and feeding flaw, which you can write it in if you can't find it in the drop downs
Wait,
for this
does
page.
everyone
Prey
have...
exclusion.
No, not everyone has that.
I don't know where I got mine from. Now that I'm looking at how I filled out, I have no idea where I sourced these
I
from.
see
so.
mine in the White Wolf wiki under my predator type.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
farmer has a feeding flaw.
Yep.
2 points farmer,
Mm-hmm.
right? Sarah, what kind of predator are you?
Alley cat?
I'm
Right.
an
Yeah,
alley
that-
cat. I
that's
don't
right,
see
alley
any
cat.
Two.
flaws.
Gain 3 dots of
I don't
criminal
see anything on that
contacts.
predator.
You lose
That's
1 dot of
backgrounds, right?
yeah.
Or is that merits?
Contacts?
Oh,
Contacts is merit. Yeah.
So the dot of
contacts is merit.
Is
humanity
it merit?
the
Because the
Yeah.
drop down, I
flaw
couldn't find it. I found contacts and backgrounds.
that I'm losing.
Yeah, it's contacts.
Okay.
And lose 1 dot of humanity. That's
Okay,
why.
so contacts are the merit, and humanity is the flaw.
Yeah.
In your case.
Okay.
So we
Okay.
have. So we started with 8, right? Not 7. Or did we
Correct.
start with 7? Okay. So we'll have 8 or 7 as alley cats. Okay.
Wait, 7 what?
I thought we had-
Humanity.
8
Yeah.
Oh,
for humanity.
Yes.
Was it 8?
I had an extra one for
I
some
wrote down
unknown
8.
reason.
Yeah. Well, I lost 1 for being an alley cat.
Yeah, she
Got it,
lost 1.
okay.
Okay, so I
And you lose
So
1
the
because
base
you're an alley
is
cat.
7. Like the base for everyone is 7 of humanity or 8.
8.
Stop.
It's 8.
Everybody
8.
stop.
Sorry.
Stop. Okay, base for everybody's 8. Katie loses 1 because she's an alley cat, which means Sarah also loses 1 because she's also an alley cat.
And I
'Cause you're
gain
humanity.
1.
You
Because
gain
I'm a
1
farmer.
because you're a farmer. Right? Like,
feel
so
like
you
I gained
read your
1
predator
for
types very
unknown-
closely.
Mm-hmm.
What is at the bottom of mine? It says predator pool, and then it has stuff listed. What is that?
Hold on, let me see. That one I have to look up. Predator pools, you can try to change up your feeding methods as opportunities. So, the pools are your dice pools.
Oh, okay.
All right, so dice pools for that is like Alley Cat is Strength and Brawl
Sure.
is your dice pool. Consensualist is Manipulation and Persuasion.
Yep.
Well, and that some of those skills would go like one of the alley cat options is stick ups. So like I put intimidation and I put stick ups next to intimidation.
Right.
That's correct, right? Okay.
Yes.
Wait,
Hold on.
where?
On like the skills part, they have that line next to it, and if you have a specialty in that skill, you put the
You
word
put the
there.
you actually
Oh,
type the
got it.
word in next to it if you took a specialty.
Okay. I was looking at the merits and flaws. They have a drop down menu that wasn't anything I recognized.
Right, so you might have to type yours in, like, because there's just a
Yeah.
lot. Okay,
There's a lot.
but I will say this: merits and flaws, I'm going to play loose and easy with because it's really hard to keep in mind. Like, I will be more happy if you bring something up to use, or I will probably lose your character sheet and pre-planning, and if you fall into my nefarious trap, your flaw will come into play. That's more how these are going to come up than,
Okay.
technical mechanics when it comes to, all right, you're in combat, I need you to remember every single thing about your character as you do your dice pools. Like, it's more like, storytelling wise, I may use it in preparation to set traps in the story. And
Oh, I didn't
whether
talk
you
about my
all
bane.
walk
Does it
into
matter?
or not. Yes. Go ahead and
It's
talk about it.
morbidity. A sense of morbid curiosity, and I don't know what something triggers that, but then until they've either
course you do.
predicted a death or solved what caused one, I suffer 3 dice penalty to other rolls. So that's fun.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
a heck of a. We're gonna have to
I'm
figure out
curious.
what like happens with that bane. Like, when does that bane come up?
Well, that's something that you kind of
Make it
Play with.
happen. Yeah.
You're right. Okay. That's
It
the one.
depends.
That's the thing. I was like, oh, and it's a painful kiss. My drink does not feel good. People don't like it.
Yeah, you probably like that though.
Consensualist.
You sadist.
Yeah, I was gonna say consensual as Takata would be rough. This really makes me think of the Black Jewels trilogy. Just saying.
Listen,
In the
so,
last session, I heard you say something and then I couldn't hear what you said after it. Like I couldn't
Oh.
make it out. You said like I will kill your characters, but I
Yes.
don't know what happens if that happens.
You will have to roll up another character. You can die.
Okay. Okay.
Vampires
so that's
live
the
a
end of your
long
character
time.
and you have to make a whole new one.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
will allow it.
Okay.
I will, depending on the scenario. Like, there's a sense of reality to this because depending on the scenario, I will let your character die. The final death. It's unfortunate when it happens. None of us wants that to happen. Although Cooper had a really good idea, which was I'll just throw a sacrificial character out there so I can learn from it and then let him die.
I don't want him to die.
But
Just
you're
if he
also
did,
like,
it wouldn't be a major loss. I did have a quick question, and hopefully this isn't jumping the gun. I'm only asking because my embracing happened so recently.
Okay.
What is the... Do you know when you intend for the story to start in terms of like time of year? That way,
Oh.
I need to change the date of death to be relatively close to that.
Oh, time of year. Good question. I did not have a time of year in mind. I am open to it if you want to be the person who decides what time of year it is.
I mean, I just defaulted to putting July 12th as my date of death, which means that it could be 3 to 6 weeks after that.
So we're in fall.
so
Sure.
like beginning of the academic year.
Yep.
That could be really fun in a whole lot of ways. All right, so based on, so the story starts 3 to 6 weeks after Marche died. You said it was July. All right.
How long have the rest of you been dead? I think I've probably been dead for a couple, or undead for a couple years, and
So
making my
some of you have some
odd way
survival
through
skills.
it.
Yeah.
Well, 2 years.
Me, a year. Just a year. Just over a year. Yeah.
What's the longest I'm allowed to do?
10.
Neonates 10.
I mean, I think I would probably flirt somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Oh my god, my cats! Hold on.
Oh, I have that written down right here. I just like can't seem to hold all of this in my head at the same time.
It's a lot. Like I feel like once we start playing, it will.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It will
It's
start
kind of
to
like
smooth
trying to
out.
prep for like a thing. Like there's so much information, and it's kind of hard to know how it'll apply until we like get in there.
Yeah. And as
It's
I
like
said,
explaining a
build
board
your
game.
character.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you're like, just start playing, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like once you play through one session, I think you'll feel a lot better about everything. Because when it comes down to it, this is not going to be a majorly technical game. We're building a character sheet to help me tell a story. You're deciding who your character is. You're deciding their carriage and why they make the decisions they make. You're deciding their goal, their motivation, and what could potentially come into conflict with them. All of us as storytellers are pretty I'm not looking to put together a party that has a healer, a tank, a mage, an ranged shooter. That's not what we're doing here. I can't even think of my fifth one. Like a thief, I guess? A rogue?
Assassin.
Rogue.
Yeah. A rogue. That's not what we're trying to do here. We're not going for a balanced party in that way. Instead, I'm looking for people who are going to tell an awesome story. Right? And so that's where you're like, what kind of character will you have fun playing to add in a bit to an epic story? That's more what you're focusing your characters on. Okay? Combat will happen, but not as much as tests of other things and going roll for that to see if you're successful.
Good.
And then we'll see what happens. Your coterie is something to talk about, but not a lot. Although, Cooper, I want you to do homework on vampire graffiti because of your character. Not a lot, because you're so new. Marche is so new, but Marche should at least know that vampire graffiti exists.
There are so many different types of coteries.
There are, and honestly, we may just give up on that whole concept.
And just see how it forms naturally.
Yeah, I think that might end up being what happens because of what I have in mind to start you all in your story.
That's fine.
So we may be defining your coterie through the course of the first part of the campaign. So be familiar, but not too worried about it. All right. So we're at the top of 8 o'clock. Some logistics about the game. I think that once we start actually in real play, it's really hard to fit it into 2 hours unless we absolutely get started at the top of the hour, which means we may have to show up a little bit early offline before we start to get all of the hi, how are you, and all of the chatter, and then setting up all of the technical stuff out of the way to start to stream directly at 6 p.m. Pacific. If we're only paying for 2 hours, that's really hard to take a break. So I'm trying to get a feel for it here for all of you. Do you feel like you want to be able to take a break? Was this long for you? Did you feel like you had to? Because different people had to step away, but it was more because something happened, not necessarily because people really had needed a bio break. So would you want a midway bio break of a 10 minutes or no?
I think that if it's a matter of if it's okay if we just pop out for a minute. I don't think we need a 10-minute break in the middle.
Yeah, I don't need a designated break.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then because we're all storytellers, but we're also all, authors with a writing career, what I would like to do is at least at the end have a promo moment where we can talk about what are you excited about this week. I was thinking about breaking it in the middle. I don't know. I am open to suggestions. Do you think we should
Middle
do
would
a break
probably
in the
be
middle?
better. That way, anybody who might not necessarily be interested in that doesn't just click off. Typical ad strategy, but
true. Okay, so
we also
have to
don't
try to
want
remember.
if that feels distasteful to be no, you have to listen to us, care about our lives. Then we don't have to do it that way.
We can also do it as part of the intro.
Could do it as part of the intro, but I kind of like it in the middle.
Okay.
I like it. What I want to start doing is that the intros will be a little bit shorter and a little bit faster. If you listen to Typecast RPG, you'll hear us and we're like, hi, I'm an author of this, and I play this. And that's going to start to be our intros on an everyday basis, or every session basis. I think we'll try to break at the middle for promos. We kind of skipped that this time. And I also want to do shout outs. So in Twitch, people who watch the stream or any of us can come back after the stream and take clips up to 30 seconds. Could be as short as whatever, and up to 30 seconds, and give shout outs to anybody who is watching who took clips. Because that'll give us an idea of what their favorite parts are. We may take those clips and we may use them for to drop onto our Instagram, onto our TikToks, or what have you, or Facebook. And I think that would be really fun and really cool for us to grab our favorite parts, and then also if we develop a viewership and fans and they start to use the clips, we want to at least take a time to shout them out by username and be like, thanks for taking the time. And then so at the halfway point, self promo, clips, shout outs, and then at the end, what I find I have a lot of fun with is that we stop the recording, but we stay on the live stream for an extra 20 minutes, those of us who have the time to do so, for Q&A. I have a feeling, I anticipate in the early sessions, we're not going to have any viewers, so we won't have Q&A, but let's just get into the practice. So probably what will be happening is that plan to be online for about 3 hours. Breaking earlier if we can. Or if we do, wrap up early, and if not. The other thing is, if one person cannot make it, because life happens, the game will go on. 2 people, questionable depending on what we're doing. 3 people, and we're going to end up calling the game and doing something else. Either the people who can make it will do a live Q&A, or, a shortened stream, or something. All right, but we won't
read out of our
move on with
stories.
gameplay if we're missing.
Oh no.
Yes, just read out loud, and then
Katie, are you on mute? Because you
What?
started-
When are you gonna start telling people?
Wait, Jenny, what? Oh, hold on a second. My headset seems to crapped out because I can't hear any of you.
Piper.
maybe?
Hello?
Nope.
No, I can hear you now.
Hello?
All right.
Oh.
What will be interesting is whether or not the recording actually still heard you, even though my headset crapped out. So Katee was laughing, and then Jenny said something, and I missed it all. What happened?
Oh, I said, when are we like talking about this publicly, like followers and such? Are we
Ooh.
Like
keeping it under
guiding
wraps right
people in this
now?
direction.
I want
Yeah.
a link to share.
All of the links and shares? All right. I'm going to stop the recording so that we can brainstorm that off the recording. So, does anybody have anything they want to promote for this recording, knowing that the recording is probably not going to go up till January?
I have a book out in January.
Please
that right?
promote it.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a dark, erotic Eros and Psyche retelling, and he's basically
Is out January.
We're like,
yeah, it
"No."
is January.
Electric Idol?
Yes, sorry, it's Electric Idol. I do have titles for books ever. And Eros is basically like a feral, murderous cat, and Psyche's nice to him one time, and he follows her home and convinces her to marry him to save her from a murder plot. You know, yeah.
Sure, as you do.
Yeah.
I'm here for
So-
it.
How it
That'll
is.
work. This is part of the Dark Olympus series, correct?
Yeah, I'm great at this. Like,
You like how
frankly,
all of us
So
love
good
her
at
series so
this.
much.
I'm
we
like,
know.
Yeah.
who cares about titles? What month is it? I have no idea.
The book cover is
Well,
amazing.
the first book was Neon Gods, and that's a Hades and Persephone retelling, sort of in a mobbish sense. And you can buy that now.
Yes.
You
And
don't
then
have to
Electric
wait
Idol
till
comes
Idol's
out, and so you can have like a double whammy of bunkers. It's gonna be joyful. All right. Anybody else have anything else to promote?
Mine is going to frequently be the same thing over and over, so I won't belabor it every single session.
No,
I have a
belabor
weekly-
it.
I mean, it's just it'd be the same thing over and over.
Don't put it down. It's
because
okay.
Kindlevella, I have a new episode chapter of a power fantasy series that I've been writing that goes up every Wednesday. But other than that, I have projects in the work, but nothing that's got a solid date yet.
Okay. Well, we're excited for your Kindlevella project. Never,
It's really
ever
good.
worry
Jenny,
about it.
you have a book.
You do.
Jenny, talk about your book.
It's recently
I mean-
released.
She looks super excited to talk about it.
You have a
It's
book.
so much more fun to talk about other people's stuff. It is called His Leading Lady. It is a steamy contemporary romance that is fake dating enemies to lovers between a very famous Hollywood actor and an elite dominatrix who's like teaching him some stuff. So it's dirty and it's fun and it's bantery. And the second book in that series comes out in April. So
I'm so here for sexy and witty banter at the same time. Hello.
Yeah.
I like witty banter. All right. Let's stop the recording. Bye bye, everybody. And